Hey everyone. In this lesson, I want to show you a really simple tool that I've built and I use quite often to manage cohorts for accelerators that I build and manage. This example is taken from an actual program that I'm currently managing for Shankar College of Engineering and Design in Israel. It's a venture design studio. We've got 12 companies, 12 startups that go through a 5 to 6 month program where they basically take their idea and turn it into an MVP, which ends in a big demo day in front of investors, strategic partners, potential customers, etc. So one of the biggest challenges of managing this kind of cohort, especially if you're dealing with people, first-time entrepreneurs, people who have never gone through this process, there's a lot of chaos that's happening. And so for me as a program manager, it's very important that I stay on top of things in order to know what's happening, in order to kind of circumvent certain events that might be happening and guide these startups, these companies through the process in the best way possible to get the best outcome possible. Okay. And so today, for this lesson, I'm using Airtable. Airtable, you can think about it as if you've never used it, it's kind of an upgraded Excel sheet. It's actually a database, not just a database, but a relational database. And what that means is that it allows me to link data across the different tables of the database. So this database is an actual example. It's the real deal. Um, it's got 5 tables in it, one for founders, one for companies, one for mentors, one for sessions, that is mentoring sessions, and one for weekly updates from the companies or the startups. And the construction of this thing is pretty straightforward, but it really allows me by linking the different tables, the different data points in these tables to get a really great overview of what's happening in the program. So I'll give you sort of a quick run through the different tables. The founders is just a list of all the founders. Some teams are a one-person team, some are two, some are up to 10. So this is where I keep track of everyone who's in the program, including their social media accounts. If we want to post a story or tweet or put something on Facebook, I've got all that information here, and I can automatically link that or put that into the post. Next, I've got companies. So these are the 12 startups. They don't have some of them have a website or a preliminary website, demo website that we've asked them to put up, but a place for a website, what's their status, okay? If they're, and this is just something that I put together, you can add stages or a status. I put idea, initial prototype, and validation. Here is the sessions, the mentoring sessions. And this is actually a column, a field that comes from the sessions table. You can see the founder, so the founders who are associated with each of the startups. And if they've filled out a weekly update, you can see the IDs of these weekly updates, very similar to the IDs of the mentoring sessions here. Okay, and I can also put a rating on each one of them, and that's important as we progress through the program. I kind of have to know who and where I'm going to put most of my effort, and who's just kind of going to fall through the cracks or just is going to just drop out. Okay, moving on to mentors. This is just a partial list of the mentors that we have in the program, emails, their industry expertise, very important, their core skills, and the different sessions that they've had with the startups in the program. This is where it starts to get interesting, is where if I take a grid view, then I can see a list of all the mentoring sessions in the program so far. This is just a partial list, but I can see who the mentor was, who the company was, how they rated the mentor, if they rated the company, and some of the feedback that the company provided for that mentor. Okay. And what I can do with this table is actually create two very simple forms. Using the fields in the table, I can then start to drag and drop and create this form, and I'll show you what that looks like. It looks something like this, where I'm asking them to review your mentoring session. I give them a choice to pick their mentors, right? The company, specify the date of the mentoring session, who was the mentor, and how would you rate them, et cetera, and then submit. And then I can use the link here to just very simply send that to them and ask them to fill it out on a weekly basis. What I can also do is do the same thing for the mentor. Again, right? They can pick the mentor, the company, and how is the company doing. I want to get some feedback from the mentor to know how the company is doing, if there are any things that I should look out for. I kind of know what they discussed because I want to be able to pick up on that thread and maybe connect it to another thread, right? I've got a required question here that says, any red flags, anything I need to know about it? Is anyone having a hard time, about to drop out, anything like that? It helps me out if they raise a red flag. And then the weekly updates is something that I ask them to do on a weekly basis, of course. And here again is a very simple form where I ask them to put in a date, the company, and then their plans, their progress, and their pains for the week. Okay, so and then it's kind of a catch-all field, other things that they want to report on. This is very important, and I can go through this every week and kind of know how they are doing and if there's anything I should address. So that was the lesson for today. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know what you thought about it. Just hit reply to the email, and see you next week.